Buckle up, space travelers. It's time to go live on S4 with Eric Cooper. Prepare to go to the edge.
3 years. Over 1,000 followers. 30,000 downloads in the archives. Welcome to S4.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to S4, the official radio broadcast of Forest Moon Paranormal, with host Eric Cooper and our panel of enlightened minds. Coming to you live from FMP headquarters located in the heart of Skagit Valley, Washington, at the base of the majestic North Cascade Mountains. We will take you through a journey of exploration as we examine every aspect of the metaphysical. From spirits, UFOs, Bigfoot, and conspiracies, to grounding, protection, astral travel, and everything in between, leaving you with a better understanding and comprehension of the world around you, and the entities that inhabit it.
Join us every Saturday night at Spreaker.com and locally on KSVU 90.1. Don't forget to check out our new webpage at www.s-4radio.com.
Now sit back, open your mind, get ready, because this is S4.
Good evening or morning, depending on where you are, and welcome to S4, the voice of Forest Moon Paranormal, coming to you live from the FMP headquarters in the heart of the Cascade Mountains in Concrete, Washington. FMP is a highly active emergency response team for all aspects of the paranormal, from aggressive hauntings to alien interaction, Bigfoot and other cryptids, and everything in between is terrifying. S4 is the voice. Well, we discuss all these things. I'm sorry, I'm distracted here for a second. In detail, not only can we find S4 right here on Spreaker, but for our local listeners, also on KSVU 90.1 FM from 10 to 12 on Saturdays with our pre-recorded shows. So, folks, tonight, it's our August Roundtable. So, yes, you know, people get confused because, generally speaking, we do it the last Saturday, but there's 5 Saturdays this month. And next Saturday is going to be special because we're actually going to talk about active shooters, how to respond to them, terrorists, how to respond to them, things like that. It's just before school starts, and I think it's important to know how to respond to active shooters. Shouldn't be that way, but hey, it's the life we live in. So, tonight with us we have Cole Wegleitner, our technical analyst, Kayla Wegleitner, our research specialist, Chris and Brent Dodge from the FMP Extended Care and Astral teams, Dreda Osborne and Haley from our Extended Care team and our Child Peer consultant, Matthew Dunnigan, one of our boots on ground analysts. And, well, right now that's it, because we had our Keith, but he got dropped. Are you here yet, Keith?
I'm back. You still breaking up badly.
You are? Okay, so our Keith Andrews, our alien race specialist. All right. So tonight is Roundtable. How's everyone doing tonight?
Good.
Great.
Good.
Perfect.
Awesome. And Tim, can you hear us? I hate technical difficulties. I hate technology, but it's something you have to have. So apparently Oregon has had... Okay, so we're good. Yeah, I love technical difficulties right in the beginning of the show, you know? It's just great. So yeah, before he forgets, so Tim says, answer later, the cattle mutilations a few weeks back in eastern Oregon, 5 total. I'm not familiar with that, actually. I'd have to look that up and do some research later on it. Oh, okay. So, sorry, Tim. Yeah, so we've been having Skype issues already before the show even started, so I thought you meant we were going quiet. That ain't cool. Yeah, no. You know, I haven't heard anything about cattle mutilations in quite some time. And actually, I know they're having human mutilations in, I believe it was Norway, and you can actually find that on YouTube. Now, it's not that I recommend YouTube. I hate YouTube. Again, I always look for 5 independent sources to validate YouTube. That's how I do research. And our Keith is in the chat room. Can you hear us, Keith? Or are we still having issues? Okay.
Well, no, I actually turned the mic off because, well, frankly, I'm trying to type at the same time.
Right. I hate technology. Have I said that before? Anyway, Matthew, what is your first question for the roundtable tonight?
Oh, why'd you pick on me now?
Because you're easy to pick on. Oh.
So, I was watching a show earlier, and my question is about animals. Now, I'm not sure how it completely works, but isn't it true that animals can actually see and feel the spirit before a human?
Yes, indeed. Because cats, dogs, and many wildlife can actually see in what's called the 4th dimension. So we've had many cases, and Brent can confirm this, but we've even had cases where the astral team goes into a client's home and is followed around by the cats and the dogs, because the cats and dogs actually can see and feel the astral team. So when it comes to, and I've brought this up on the show before, but we actually had a case where there was a video, the client took a video of their cat, and you could actually see, you can look at pictures of videos sometimes and see they're fake. This one is pretty obvious. You could actually see the cat being picked up and moved around by something unseen. When the team went in, we found that they had actually done remodeling of the closet and the bathroom, and there were some pissed off fairies that were taking it out on the cat. So, yes, they tend to pick on animals. Animals can see and hear and feel them before humans can, because they can actually see in the 4th dimension.
Gotcha. Okay.
And that's kind of not to their benefit sometimes, because they're seen as protectors to an extent. So they're targets for some spirits because of the fact that these pets can, alert us or warn us when something isn't supposed to be there is there.
Okay.
Anyone got anything to add?
Yeah, it's not so much, in all fairness, from my standpoint, that they see them before humans can, so much as they acknowledge them.
Okay.
But you are right. Cats have a little bit of a problem expressing that to humans.
Well, other than running away and hissing and smacking at the air,
Yeah, but what you got to learn is what those hits mean to you. You can actually talk to them. It's not your fault. It's not their fault. They don't know that you don't speak feline.
But
And let's face it, their jawlines are not designed for English.
yeah, it's true. And meow is kind of hard to understand.
I have seen some pretty convincing cat videos where they talked on Facebook.
I know it. I have too. And they're not very polite.
That's true.
They're actually pretty rude. Look at Garfield.
Hey, Coop.
Yes.
He said I can. He said I can confirm last role that they can sense us and see us and all that. One time I was actually playing with a client's dog, and I tried to throw home, but I couldn't quite go fast. But it was kind of, I called it a couple of times and came to me. Pretty cool.
Somebody's got their speaker on.
Yeah, you're right. Jump on Chris's phone and see if that's any better.
Is that better?
That's
Yeah.
Yes.
Sorry about that.
That's all right. Let's see here. Haley, we don't get to pick on you too often. What's your first question for tonight?
Okay, so my first question that I have to pull up the question. So my first question is, why do aliens, mainly the reptiles, want to be higher up in society? Like part of the government or on being a newscaster or something like that.
Okay, say that one more time.
Why do reptile aliens want to be higher up in society?
So there's many theories about whether or not the reptilians are in the government. Keith, you want to address that? Because there's like 16 different reptilians races?
Something close to that anyway. I'd have to do a quick count. But the answer to your question, Haley, is actually comical in a way. Go back to the late 70s, early 80s. There was a neat show called B. That is why 90% of the humans seem to think that aliens want to be in the upper echelon of today's society. The reptilians have an interest in human politics from the standpoint of controlling it. They've got no interest in being withheld that way.
That's interesting.
See, the problem here is this. In reptilian culture, in any one of them, if there is a problem on the floor, as it were, instead of an argument, they have a bloodbath. Okay, and half the politicians die.
Oh.
Okay, and humans do not appreciate that kind of political revolution. So from a reptilian standpoint, becoming involved in a very political program does not make sense to become a leader.
Gotcha.
And the movie B was very good at laying it out, so everybody thinks that's what they want.
Oh, I see now.
And it goes back to, you've got some out there that think Queen Elizabeth is reptilian, and, they portray her with reptilian pupils and whatnot. And it is comical, because honestly, if they wanted to take over human civilization, it's not a matter of infiltration, it's a matter of they would.
Extermination.
Yeah. They could destroy the human race, and you wouldn't even know it was coming. It would just be done.
Oh.
But it is a common question, and it's not a bad one at all, especially coming from you.
I see.
Yeah. It's you've got a lot of people in the UFO field, as a matter of fact, that believe that way.
Oh, Lord, yeah.
I won't say any names, but they won't be at Paracon. We'll put it that way.
Well, and this is going to sound really rude and really forward of me, but thank you.
Yeah, no, we won't even go into that discussion just yet. But yeah, there are certain people that won't ever be at Paracon because we're kind of picky about who comes and speaks.
And you have to be selecting these people so you can bring them by.
Right. So, Kayla, what's your first question tonight?
All right. My first question has to do with shielding. So I heard that there are certain people that have natural shields that would always kind of be up there. Why do you think that is, that some people have that and others don't?
It depends on what their culture is. It depends on what their culture was in a past life. It depends on what their purpose on this planet is. Those are 3 reasons right off the top. Keith?
Well, some people are born naturally with a natural tendency of doing it. Part of it's because it's just plain natural. The other issue is when you have somebody that is, if you will, instinctively paranoid, and that sounds bad, but it works really well. You'll develop a much stronger shield that you just won't leave a kink in. Okay. The other thing, of course, is people are taught, if you're trained, what ends up happening is you're trained how to erect the shield. If you do it instinctively, you forget you don't know how, so it just goes up.
Okay.
And, natural ones are a heck of a sight stronger than ones that are trained.
Just remember, if you have a natural shield, you have a tendency of forgetting about that, and when something comes and destroys it, then you're weaker because you don't have a shield anymore.
Yep.
And you think you do.
And if it's always been up, you may not recognize when it isn't.
Right. So, yeah, it's always important to still build, whether you're naturally shielded or not, still work on and build the shields around your natural shields so you're always protected.
I would rather have, sad to say, I would rather have 2 sets of armor up than only one.
Exactly. And good evening, Starflower. Starflower is in the chat room now. She says, hi, guys.
That she does. And I guess we should say hi, Starflower. That's Starflower. And apparently I can't speak, so that's okay.
Okay, Chris, what's your first question for tonight?
Okay. How common are black-eyed kids, and what is their purpose?
Oh, my God, no, don't bring up black-eyed kids. No.
Well, yes. Black-eyed kid culture, they're pretty common.
I really don't have a good definition of, honestly, what they're here for. I mean, it depends on which aspect you look at, because some say they're evil, some say they're off-world, some say they're demons, which I don't believe that side of it. What's curious about black-eyed kids, though, is the fact that they have to ask to come in. They can't come in your home or your car unless you actually allow them to, which that's always appeared vampiric to me.
Very good.
Have you ever known anybody that's come in contact with them?
So when you deny them entrance, they get really irate to the point where they start. I've never personally encountered them. I know I've heard stories from Christina George, who was at our first annual Paracon, and we talked to her on occasion, and she's had personal encounters with them. But what's curious too, we talked about this a couple of months ago, didn't we? Wasn't it?
Yeah.
And what was curious about them is they couldn't be seen in the mirror, which is also, according to theory, vampiric. So, are they from the vampire realm or the vampire beliefs? I would have to kind of go with that. As far as them being demonic, no. What's your opinion of them being off-world, Keith?
Definitively, yes.
So
you're right from my standpoint. They are not vampiric, or not vampiric. They are not demon.
Mm-hmm.
However, they are related to the vampires as far as the culture goes.
Right.
Okay, they are not vampire per se, because vampires feed on life source. The black-eyed kids feed on fear. Okay. Which is really comical when you think about it, because that makes them related in essence to demons at the same time, sort of a halfway link between the two. Because a lot of demons will feed on fear, but that's a lot of problem.
Even demons, malevolent entity types in general, all feed off fear. Every one of them. Some more than others. Starflower wants to know, do black-eyed kids show up in certain areas? The first cases that were documented happened in Texas, if I remember right, and that was back, I think, in the early 90s. I think it goes beyond that, but the first documented report I've read happened in Texas in the 90s. I don't really think it matters the areas they're in. I know it happens in California a lot. Again, it's happened in Texas. I don't know what brings them. I have no idea, because that's really an area I'm not versed in. Haven't done a whole lot of research on them. And we don't have any cases with them. So, what makes them show up? You got any ideas?
As near as I've come to understand it, whoever they shop around has to have a lot of negative energy around them, usually some sort of trauma or excessive stress around them to start with.
Right.
That seems to be the common denominator.
And
they're called black-eyed kids, but I'm going into depth here. I'm just curious if they're more female or male. I mean, they're considered black-eyed kids, but I wonder if
they say that each one is more male or female.
Well, there, since you're taking it a step further, there's also black-eyed adults that have been reported, and that's straight from Christina George.
Oh, wow.
She's hard to get back on the show because she's always doing ghost tours. She's always having issues, so she's hard to get on the show. But we need to get her back on and just do a black-eyed kid show.
Yeah, I think, since I've been in FMP, that's why I brought it up, because that's the least thing that we hear about.
No,
I mean, you hear Dogman, you hear all that, but, very seldom. I know we've talked about them briefly, but just one of those things I knew you'd like me to bring up. So there was your question.
It's better than Zach Baggins. But anyway. Yeah, the less cases you have on some of these things, the less knowledge you have on them. Because we're focused mostly on malevolent entities, especially of late.
Might get ready for that, because that's about to get us sour.
Oh, it's already starting.
Yeah, what you're seeing is kind of like low tide before a tsunami.
So something that came up in the group, and I like pulling questions from posts that are in the group. But what do you think of the veil? So we have Halloween shortly after Paracon, and everyone's got the misconception that the veil's thinnest at Halloween and cases are going to explode in October. And I'm sorry, but FMP does 2 to 5 cases a day as it is. It doesn't go up. It doesn't go down. There is a veil, but I think the veil, like we've talked about before, Keith, and I think you're absolutely right with everybody expects more spirits. They expect horror. They expect fear. And that brings in, it's like an attractant.
Well, it increases the energy output, making it easier to bridge the veil. It does not weaken the veil.
Right. I firmly believe that because we don't see a jump in cases. We handled cases all year long. It doesn't matter. If you want to get technical, June 21st, the veil goes thin again. That's when the fairies are active the most. So do we see a rise in cases in June? No, we don't. So does the veil affect our caseload? Not really.
Sure it does. Picture how fun it would be for you if the veil didn't exist.
Oh, jeez.
I wouldn't be doing this.
You wouldn't have time to be doing this.
Exactly. I'd be... No. I wouldn't have come back. But
although I will tell you this, it would make one heck of a Halloween party.
It reminds me of that meme where the guy's sitting on the couch and the sheet comes running up to him and he pulls the sheet off and there's nothing there and he freaks out. Yeah. We'd see a lot of sheets floating around with nothing underneath them.
They call that a tornado in this world?
A tornado of spirits?
No, tornado where you see a whole pile of sheets flying around with no people in them.
Oh, yeah. Exactly. I can agree with that. Cole.
Yeah.
What's your first question?
So, as of late, I have been more active out in the community with this group and with FMP and S4, and we've got Paracon coming up. I found myself having to talk to a lot more people about it.
Fun.
So, from people I already know, I've gotten a lot of side glances and looks, and they want a better explanation of what we do, and
I didn't hear any of that.
So they want a better explanation of what we do as a group and what we are. But you can feel from the moment I start talking that they don't believe a word I'm saying.
Yes.
How do you avoid not being a jerk when? Because I don't even want to talk to them at that point about it.
Then don't.
But I have to because they're the people I'm asking for money and things for our group for sponsorship and stuff.
So, and I've thought about this too, and again, it goes back to the group because you have ghost investigators and ghost busters and Bigfoot researchers and UFO investigators. We don't really do any of this. To be blunt, we're fixers. We're cleaners. We fix problems. We remove problems. We don't investigate them.
I don't get that when I talk to people. They understand it, but in what I do is actual, when I say working with stones, they know what stones are. They've seen stones. So it's things visual that I work with. On the other hand, if Brent goes to explain astral, they can't visualize that. So some can, but most can't. And so if you talk about astral, they're like, huh? If I talk about stones, they're like, oh yeah, wow, I didn't know they did that. So I think it also depends on the person's comprehension of it. Some people are visual, some people are audio. I mean, that's just regular in the world. Yeah, and so I think it just depends on your, like, I can explain to them because I do cases with that.
Mm-hmm.
So if that kind of makes sense, I think it just depends the topic that you're talking about, and if you have the experience to back it up. But then again, I think it's the visualization. People respond better to things that they have seen and they know about.
So, go ahead.
You also got to think about people, and certain people are just stuck in the mindset that it doesn't exist. So no matter how many things you show them, no matter what you say to them, they're going to believe in their own opinion.
That's really what it boils. That's what it boils down
and
to.
People have said, "Oh, there is no such thing as paranormal," so it's their beliefs too.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. And that's when I'm talking to someone and they say that, I said, that's okay that you think that way, because we all have the right to think our own ways.
It's like I tell people, you don't have to believe in gravity for it to have a heck of an impact.
Yeah. Well, I wanted to share that Haley went in to take a flyer into a store, and the gentleman said, well, what's it about? And she explained it so well to the gentleman, but then he looked at the poster and he pointed to the alien on it and said, why is that there? And then he posted to the little moth thing and said, well, what's that about? And he goes, no, I'm not putting that in my store. No. So when Haley got her first taste of, someone being rude, and,
I'll expect more.
Yeah, and I've told her, I said, not everybody's going to agree with, things that we believe, and it's okay. But no, he didn't need to be rude. But, it was an eye-opener for her, because instinctively she just is pulled towards it.
Mm-hmm.
So she wants other people to understand that that's also, they're missing so much by not understanding that.
There's confusion too. So what we do is first response. That's what this team is geared for. We're first responders of paranormal emergencies. So some people don't call us. I've had a couple people that they didn't call us in because it wasn't an emergency. Their daughter only wanted to know who the spirit was, if there was one. And that was not an emergency. So she called another team in. I have no problem with that. The problem I have is when the other team is going to make a bunch of crap up. That's where I have a problem.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
If we went into every case that only wanted to know if there was something there and what their name was and, why they're here, we would be overwhelmed. We still get that on occasion, and we take them. We wait for people to come to us. We don't go looking for cases. Or again, we'd be overwhelmed because you can find cases everywhere. But when you're talking to people, and this is to answer your question, Cole, we're first responders of paranormal emergencies. But on that, we also investigate Bigfoot. We investigate UFO sightings, and we alleviate issues. So if there is an abduction, we try to alleviate or get their questions answered as to what race it is, what the agenda is, and is there a way we can help them. So I think first response is the easiest way to answer those. And
I like that. Yeah.
You're not going to get everybody that even believes that paranormal exists. And, like Starflower said in the chat room, they're only going to believe in when it happens to them. So
Yep.
you tell them, it's fine. It's your right. You don't have to believe. If it hasn't happened to you, you're not going to believe. You're going to believe everything that happens only happens on TV, happens in the movies, and it's not reality. Does that help, Cole?
Yeah.
We're
I
not
just
here-
sometimes want to choke them.
Oh yeah, well, believe me. Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah. And
Yeah, when you say that, I picture that gentleman that was at the fair.
which one?
Just to
The
clarify,
one that
I
came
did
back
not
to-
choke anybody at the fair.
The gentleman that came back like 3 or 4 times asking a question, and he then unfortunately made ridiculous remarks.
Oh, and then brought his
You know, it
kids,
was-
and Cole put them in his place.
Yes, and brought
I
his
remember
kid.
that.
Yes. Oh my gosh, I'm sorry, but that just makes me chuckle because, yeah.
So, I had to explain on the group today, actually. So, yes, we do emergency response cases. That is the priority. But we also do public education. We do that through the Paracon. We do that through S4. These are our public education venues or avenues. And that's really what FMP is here for. And again, we do 2 to 5 cases globally. I think the hardest question to answer is when they ask, well, I'm in Wisconsin. How are you going to get here? Are you guys in Wisconsin too? No, we come in astrally. Explaining to somebody that has no idea what astral is the hard one to convince until like today, when Brent had a client completely convinced that astral's real.
That was pretty cool.
It was. So, who we got left? Keith, what's your
Right.
first question?
Well, it's kind of interesting that Haley's online because I ran into an interesting situation. How does a child handle, child or a young teenager handle an adult relative bullying them?
Say what now?
Just have to repeat it.
Could you repeat that, please?
Yeah, what I said was, how is a young teenage child best set up to handle being bullied by an adult relative, not a parent?
I'm not quite sure what you're saying, like being bullied because they believe in paranormal, or like bullied in general.
I mean bullied in general in this case.
Oh, well, from experience, if I were being bullied by an adult, not part of the family, or even part of the family, I'd respectfully agree with them and let it be. But if it happens continuously, then, school taught us always go to a trusted adult, so then I would bring it them. Or aka grandma.
Yeah, I know nothing like putting you on the spot there, kiddo.
Haley, you're a lot nicer than I am. I would have just kicked him in the crotch.
I was thinking along the same
It
lines.
hasn't escalated to that yet.
Don't be a bad example, Cole.
That's all I am.
Yeah, because I didn't hear what Cole said. I don't hear a lot of what Cole says. Don't take that personally, Cole. But based on your guys' reactions, I probably had a very similar one.
He said he would just kick him in the crotch.
See, I was more verbal than that.
Agreed.
Of course, I have this thing about personal pain, and you kick somebody in the crotch, the odds are they're going to get up and beat the daylights out again.
I have other means that don't expend energy. But yeah.
Sure, it's called gunpowder.
Exactly. Anyway, Starflower says usually cut them off. Oh, yeah, you cut them out of your life.
Yeah, I went there. I went with that.
That's okay. But yeah, and I agree with Starflower. If they continue and you don't have another adult that can step in, you just ignore them and ignore them and cut them off. They're not part of the family anymore.
Are we talking about that one guy who showed up at the booth? I mean, he's not family, but still.
Which one?
I can honestly tell you, no.
Red flannel.
So, I'm sorry to butt in, but that topic kind of struck a little nerve because the way that I think about it is if an adult is picking on a kid, bullying, anything like that, it shouldn't happen because the way that I see it is if the kid looks up to you, we need to guide the kid and take them in the right direction. If we don't, then you're going to have all the violence, you're going to have everything that we have nowadays. If that makes sense.
That makes sense.
Yeah, no, it makes sense. I do appreciate it. Sadly, my reaction to bullying is a whole lot less admirable than a lot of adults. I don't think I ever actually got over mine.
Well, that's a hard one to get over because, as a kid, you expect more from an adult. You don't expect bullying from someone that's supposed to be, you're supposed to be looking up to. So, just getting past that would take therapy.
Oh, yeah.
Well, you gotta
There you go.
Okay. Well, you gotta look at the fact that whatever adult would be doing this to a child obviously has some massive insecurities or something going on in their personal life that is making them feel like they need to pick on somebody that is smaller and can't defend themselves. So this person honestly is the one that should be seeking therapy and needs to figure out what's going on in their life, not the child.
No, I'm talking about the child when they grow up, when they turn into adults.
Okay. Yeah. Yes, most definitely.
Because they're supposed to be protected, guided, and taken care of by the adult, not bullied.
Right.
Absolutely. In all fairness, I agree with both of you.
Yeah.
The adult needs to be protected, but the adult doing it, needs something else.
Right, because if you feel that the only way that you're gonna get your kicks and giggles, I don't know what it is, that would be picking on a small innocent child that cannot defend themselves, then obviously there's way bigger issues that adult would need to be working on.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, Brent, what's your first question tonight? Oh, Brent.
Sorry, I had to unmute. I don't know if it's a question per se, but I guess you could say we've never really delved into water creatures that much. Like MD and all that kind of stuff. What's y'all's intakes, I guess you could say, on water creatures?
I think a lot of water creatures, it's multifaceted. I believe, we've got part of the Fey realm that is of the element of water. You're going to find them. I believe when you got things like Loch Ness and some of the other creatures that surface, you're going to find our prehistoric dinosaurs that just really haven't been discovered yet. Or, they were ruled as extinct and they're not. There might be one or two, maybe more, like in the Mariana Trench.
Huh?
They're cryptids in their own right. I guess why don't we explore water creatures in FMP? they don't come up.
Well, that's not the issue. No, and think about it. The reason you guys get calls is because people run into these things. There are not that many people that run into, into Nessie or into Loch Ness or into Ogopogo, because people just don't stay in the water long enough.
No.
That's true.
Or go deep enough.
And I would agree. Now, you do have some, paranormal investigators that is their focus. And it's a matter of finding them and talking to them. But, we're not... I'll say, me personally, I'm not a water person. I don't like swimming. So I'm not going to go find one. The closest I'll see a water creature would be seeing a water sprite. And that's because they're in the creeks and the streams and the mountains.
Yeah.
Yep.
So,
I highly respect water.
oh yeah. I'm just
Very much.
I'm earth. I'm not water.
Yeah.
And I just wasn't impressed when I got pulled under it into an intake valve. Took away a lot of the interest in getting there.
No. And yeah, so Starflower is saying they found and heard pretty strange things in the water. So since we're talking about water, a lot of Navy personnel have stories about hearing things with sonar under the water that were unexplainable. You've got, so you got unidentified flying objects. You have USOs, which are unidentified submergible objects. And these are lights in the water. They're lights in the ocean.
Yep.
They come and go. They come in and out of the water. But I think the strangest thing I've heard was a sound that was picked up that was heard 1,000 miles away. Now, what kind of noise can you pick up 1,000 miles away? It's got to be, there's things we don't know that are mysteries still. Do earthquakes make noise? Does the energy caused by volcanoes underwater, does that make noise?
Yes, to both.
Say again?
I said yes to both.
Right. But does it sound metallic? So I believe the noise that the sonar picked up that was 1,000 miles away was metallic. It wasn't a submarine. It wasn't anything terrestrial sounding, from what I read in the article anyway. Again, there's a lot of mysteries. It could have been something terrestrial that we just haven't discovered.
Well, the ocean's so vast and so deep, and there's so much undiscovered in that depth, the deepest part, that anything. Your imagination can run away on what's in this water. Right. And that's why I only swim where I can see my feet.
I swim in a pool. I won't get in the river. I won't get in the lake. I will swim in a pool. That's as far as I go.
Well, for how many years did they say that the giant squid was something of legend? That there's no that's real. And then what? They found one. Obviously,
they found yes.
Real. So I think there's things down there that we might never find. They just live way down, and we're going to have to advance our technology severely before we see these new species, or existing species, but new to us.
Indeed. And what kind of dinosaurs are underwater that we haven't discovered yet?
Right, and then you get into the whole hollow earth thing and the fact that there could be a whole new planet down there.
Yeah, you go into some really interesting areas. Mind you, I will tell you, the only dinosaurs you'll find underwater of any use are the ones that breathe underwater.
Right.
Sharkies.
Yeah. And the megalodon.
Yeah. I say, if I remember correctly, they actually found one of those.
When?
I caught wind of it. I only heard about it just last week sometime. There was a report that came across my field that a submarine had spotted a thing. Spotted a shark bigger than the submarine was.
Oh, right on.
Well, I mean, like, look at the anglerfish. Nobody would believe that that was real until one washed up and they were like, whoa, what is this thing?
Those buggers are ugly.
Yeah, well, it's kind of like the coelacanth off of Madagascar that they didn't believe was there until they hauled it up in a fishing net.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, who wants to believe in a 6-foot man-eating shark or man-eating fish?
No, all the more reason I will stay the hell out of the water. You just prove my point.
Yeah.
Yet you'll go into the woods where there's way more than 6-foot man-eating bears. But
yeah, but that's fine. I can deal with them. They're physical.
I was going to say, you deal with the Bigfoot, I'll deal with the water.
There you go.
I'll cover all just to be sure.
Yeah,
New FMP dive team.
Yeah, I love the story that somebody came up with, and I have yet to figure out how it took them this long. But the scientists came up with a brilliant study that proved that 95% of shark attacks on people happen in shallow water. Now, apparently, it took 3 years to figure that out.
That's why I don't go wading either.
You know why it's such a high percentage happens in water, right?
Because that's where people are.
And see, it only took you, what, maybe 15 seconds? It took the scientists, the brightest minds in the world, 3 years to figure this out.
Right.
Well, hey, there's a lot of people that go missing after shipwrecks, and that's not shallow water. You got to take those into account, too.
Well, that's why you got that 5% that sharks take.
But there's a lot of people that go missing in the woods, too, but that doesn't scare me.
And those aren't sharks.
No. And, oh God, what was the name of the movie? Sharknado.
Oh, I thought you were going to say
Oh,
Deliverance.
those so dumb.
Yeah, come on, Sharknado was a wonderful movie.
It deserves an Oscar.
It does.
Oh, you know, that's what I thought of when R. Keith was talking about tornadoes with spirits in them. I was like, Spirit,
that's where you went.
I did.
Now, so Robert Short tagged me last night, and this is off topic, but we're talking movies. And
we have
Bushwick. Who's seen the Netflix movie Bushwick yet?
I think I'm not.
It's interesting, and so this is an area we'll probably delve into next week. Militias. Because Bushwick is basically a scenario based on a militia from Texas, from Kentucky, Tennessee, basically all your southern states, and they wanted to secede from the nation. So they thought it was going to be a great idea to go take over Bushwick, New York. They didn't expect any kind of controversy or any kind of conflict. Really? Yeah. Come to concrete and see what happens. Everybody's got guns. So, yeah. And it's basically, it was a stupid ending, but it's probably how it really ended. But I can't remember his name, the Marine, it was a Marine and a college student. And, it's them trying to get to this neutral zone kind of deal. And all the crap they got to go through to get there. And then they both die in the end. And like, really? I just watched an hour and a half of a movie where I expect them to make it, and they get killed right in the end. Wonderful. Good acting, though, for a B-rated movie. And, to me, a pretty realistic scenario. It could happen. But check it out. It's called Bushwick. It's on Netflix. And with that, we're going to go ahead and take our first break, And when we come back, we'll go to the question number 2.
You are listening to S4 on Spreaker.com.
Come get spooked at the 4th Annual Forest Moon Paracon in Cedar-Woolley, Washington, Saturday, September 28th. UFOs, ghosts, aliens, Bigfoot. Speakers include Mike Morin and Jason Jordan, R. Keith Andrews, and Dave Scott from Spaced Out Radio, and so much more. There will be workshops and a VIP roundtable. Get early bird tickets now at fmparacon.com.
We've had several days of 80-degree plus weather here in Concrete, Washington. My family's favorite way to keep cool in this heat is to stop by Java Zone 2 and grab a delicious iced latte for me and a blended mocha for my husband. Our son just loves their creamy milkshakes, and our daughter can't get enough of their ice cream. The best part is, Java Zone 2 is conveniently located just off Highway 20 beside Loggers Landing. And I'm proud to shop local for a business that has been a staple of the Concrete and Upriver community since it opened its doors in 2010. So if you're looking for a way to keep cool in this summer heat, come check out Java Zone 2. They're fast, friendly, and local.
Hello, my name's Cole Wegleitner with Statement of Sound DJ Productions. We do mixing, monitoring, recording, and editing for all your audio needs. For our local listeners in the Skagit area, we are taking bookings for your 2019 events and parties. We have a wide array of music from any genre. Please allow us to help you make these memories last forever. Contact us at 360-999-2830 or on Facebook at www.facebook.com/SOSDJPro.
Forest Moon Paranormal is a non-for-profit emergency response team that handles all aspects of the paranormal, helping you, your family, friends, and community since 2004. Whether you're having a problem with hauntings, spirits, Bigfoot, other types of cryptids, or UFO activity. Maybe you're just unsure of what's bothering or terrifying you. Or maybe you're just afraid of criticism and disbelief. FMP is here for you. We handle cases globally and locally from our headquarters in Skagit County, Washington. We never accept any form of payment for our services and are 100% confidential. You can find us on Facebook under Forest Moon Paranormal. You can private message us for assistance, or just come join in the discussion and become part of our growing FMP community.
Are you having encounters with the paranormal, supernatural, or ufological that you cannot explain? Look no further than the SOR Sightlines Report, brought to you by the Experiencers Support Association. This is Ryan Stacy, head of the Research Association, TESSA. Soon on the Spaced Out Radio website, you'll be able to file your reports and have them researched for you. We are independent and ready to help Spaced Out Radio listeners today.
Join us on September 28th at the Cedar-Woolley Community Center for 2019 Forest Moon Paranormal Paracon. VIP All Access passes on sale now at fmparacon.com. Your pass includes all-day admission to see the speakers and workshops, the Ghost Walk, a special VIP workshop, a special round table with the speakers, a Paracon t-shirt, and an FMP Paracon swag bag. These tickets can be purchased from fmparacon.com. Get yours today.
Hey everyone, Cole here with S4 Paranormal Radio, the official voice of Forest Moon Paranormal. Looking for a way to get the word out there about your business, group, team, or product? Let us help you. A few clicks is all it takes to get started at s-4radio.com or you can contact me at 360-999-2830.
Welcome back to S4 with your host, Eric Cooper.
Welcome back to S4. Tonight, it's our August Roundtable. Don't forget, you can also find the archives at our Spreaker site and on the S4 YouTube channel, where you can find all the shows from the last 3 years. Anyway, back to the show. So, let's see. Who am I going to pick on now? Eeny, meeny, miny, mo, and Haley. What's question number 2?
Hello.
What's your next question?
My next question is something I have to pull up yet again. So, it's apparently not in my book. Oh, so it's a question that me and my grandma want to ask. It's, why do most paranormal things happen more in the night than day?
Ooh, that, you know what, that just came up in the group, I think, yesterday or the day before.
Yesterday.
So, was it yesterday?
Yeah.
So,
I think so.
Bear in mind, the nighttime, it doesn't really matter what time it is, whether it's day, night, there's always spirits, there's always Bigfoot, they're always here. But the difference being, at nighttime, the fear factor goes up. Your senses are more heightened. You're more aware.
Oh, I see.
It's also more quiet. So you can actually hear things better than during the day. During the commotion of grabbing the coffee, all the day-to-day events are they always have you paying attention. It's always louder. At nighttime, everything settles down. Everything's quiet. So you're going to hear things more.
Oh, gotcha.
That's the difference.
I see.
And, paranormal TV shows, they only do things at night. So that's got to be it. That's what
that makes more sense now.
Now, wouldn't that also have to do with the human state of mind? Because, at nighttime, you're de-stressing, you're sitting, you are more relaxed and open.
Exactly. But so with that, your senses are more aware. Oh, hey, Joe is in the chat room. Alon's Joe. And he's asking, too, why do all the Ghost Hunter shows have guys looking for shadow figures in the dark? It brings in good ratings. That's what it is. And, you don't see the director pulling the door shut. And all the creepy, eerie music that brings you, on the edge of your seat. And then go ahead and say it.
It would also be really hard to set up the right lighting to make that shadow creature in the daytime.
Right. And I know Chris wants to say, Zach Bagans.
That's your favorite.
Oh, no, it's really not. But you know what? I've got people that are higher on that list of dislikes than Zach Bagans, but we won't go into the list. Maybe we'll have a special S4 of people we don't like, but no, not now.
That's not a good idea.
That's a little much.
Oh, yeah, no, it's not.
Might bring the ratings quite up, though.
Say again?
It might just bring the ratings right up, though.
No, I'm not. You know what? I'm really not about ratings on S4. I really ain't.
No, I know.
I don't care.
I know.
What I think is really cool is when we look at the geolocation, once a week after the show, and we see all the countries. And it's really, really cool. I mean, we have listeners in Croatia, I'm going, huh? Croatia? Seriously? You know, and there's countries I've never even heard of before. What was that one, Cole? Moldova?
Yes, the Republic of Moldova.
Where is where's the Republic of Moldova at?
Earth.
Well, yeah, we get that.
You asked.
I know. And if you are the one listener that's listening from the Republic of Moldova, thank you. You make it exciting. You really do.
And welcome to Earth.
Exactly. And welcome to Earth. But yes, you know, I like the saying, I'm not scared of the dark, I'm scared of what's in the dark. Because that's actually more accurate. But it's always there, whether it's light or dark. Just to reiterate.
Just so you know, it's Eastern European country.
It's actually in the it's right in between Romania and the Ukraine.
And we have a listener in the Ukraine too. That's cool. Maybe they're neighbors. They wave across the border.
They are. Yeah, Moldova is right there.
All right, Keith.
I did not do it.
Well, what's your second question?
Check out a lot of those, but the biggest one that I look at is, you know, people ask why there is an increase in. It's more of a comment than it is a question, I think. But has anybody noticed down there? And I'm presuming the answer is yes. You guys live there. That there seems to be an increase in, instead of an increase in awareness, there seems to be an increase in armored protection around the schools, instead of an increase or more to the point, a decrease in the number of people causing the problem. And I'm curious if anybody has any idea why. I've got my own suspicions on it.
Oh, are we going to go into politics? I don't want to go into politics. No.
Actually, I was thinking more of the survival of the kids. I could care less about the politicians shooting each other.
Well, that's what it boils down to. Why are there more guns protecting the schools? It comes down to the NRA. But we won't open that door. The thing is, you know, and I've said this before, in the 70s and 80s, when you had kids going to school with a gun, they had the gun in the gun rack in their pickup because they were going to go hunting after school.
Yep.
That's why they had a gun. You know, so we had the shooting a couple weeks ago, well, 3 weeks ago now. We had two shootings. One was right before the show. One was actually during the show. And you've got this conservative jumping up and down on TV saying, blame it on the video games. It's all the video games' fault. No, it's not. I think it comes down to parenting. Or rather, the lack of parenting.
I was going to say, yeah.
You know, you throw your kids to school and you expect the school to raise them, which is the wrong answer. Or worse yet, if you're in the city, you let the community raise them, or rather the kids in the community raise them. There's no parents. And no, I'm not going to jump on the bandwagon of or the belief that, oh, we need to bring religion. No, religion isn't even in that scenario. It's parenting, not religion.
Well, let's face it. Religion is behind 80% of the wars. I think they're missing the point. And missing the point on avoiding them.
Agreed.
You know, so we got to take religion out of the equation.
But it's the religions that are jumping up and down, saying we need more religion. Because face it, more and more people are leaving the church. More and more people are leaving religion. So they're getting desperate. So they're trying to say, we need to bring the Bible back at school. We need to bring prayer back in school. We need to do this. We need to do that. And no, bring the parents back into the house. Bring the parents back into the kids' lives. That's the answer. Not religion, not politicians, parents.
I'm just saying I liked having the Bible in high school. It made excellent rolling papers.
Oh, you're just wrong. Come on. Bad Catholic. Bad Catholic.
Wow.
No, the reality is, this idea of pushing of having where parents have stepped in and said, no, nobody can tell my kid what to do. I wouldn't mind that the parents would tell their own kid what to do.
Yeah, well, yeah. But that's where the parents need to be involved.
Yes.
And
although there was a period when parents were made too responsible for it.
And I agree. There needs to be a balance. There does. Tripp is saying in the chat room, could it be because the schools are giant campuses instead of neighborhood schools where a teacher actually knew the students? And I would agree with that. I look at concrete, because that's really right now the only thing I can compare it to other than Izzy. She had, 2,000 kids in her school when she went to high school. But I look at concrete today, and concrete's they actually broke the classes down once they got past 20. So you've got 20, first, second graders in a class, and they have another first, second, grade class that's got another 15, 20. They broke it down so that there wasn't too many students versus a teacher.
And that's a really good size. That's a good size to have.
Right. They can control it.
Really wonderful. Yeah.
And they know the students by name. They know the students that are having problems at home. And that's really what it boils down to. Now, does that take the guns out of school problem away? No, it does not.
No.
Not by any means. But I think you need to identify the students that are having problems at home and keep a closer eye on them.
Well, you also got to think about population in general. So our population is growing and growing and growing, and there are certain people that are just born with psychopathic tendencies. And there's going to be more people that are born with psychopathic tendencies the more population that's coming out.
Agreed. And so I'm reading comments. So Starflowers 2 saying, I think it's social pressure in school, social experiment. And kids are so entitled now, and tantrums are getting bigger.
Yes, but also at the same point, I guess that what I'm trying to say is we also have these no bullying policies, no fighting policies, no specific schools are doing no contact sports. They're doing all these different things to keep from students getting hurt or their feelings hurt, which is a huge part of growing up and being able to deal with the pressures and stuff that are on you. Not saying that massive bullying is a good idea by any means, but everybody had that kid in school that picked on them a little bit. And I'm not talking like a lot, but would say something every once in a while. And back in the day, it was okay. It was boys are boys and girls are girls. They're going to attack each other. They're going to say certain things. But now we have created a society where it's not okay to say anything to anybody.
It's called politically correctness.
Eric,
right.
Pull Doretta back in, please.
But
I'm working on it.
But in doing that, we also created a society that can't handle pressures of everyday life.
Agree.
Not only back then, if you were being bullied, you just kind of kicked your butt and got on with it, and that was the end of it.
Well, glad it was the end of it for you. I didn't work out that way. But I do get your point. The reality of it is, if you have it, and we can equate it to volcanoes. If there is no release, if there's no pressure release, it's going to create a bigger problem later. If kids
Right.
don't learn how to deal with it, and that doesn't mean suffer through it without parental backup. Right, but if they aren't taught to deal with it, in a practical fashion, and they can't be taught if there isn't anything happening, it's kind of like the comment that people make: "Don't talk to strangers."
So here, I'm going to be honest. I teach my kids not to talk to strangers. Kind of have to up here, though.
See, and I agree to a point. What I taught mine wasn't so much don't talk to them as don't go within arm's reach.
No, there you go. Okay, PBR. We'll get off the boring topic. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I know we're not a political show. We're a paranormal show. So okay. So Cole, what's your next question?
Okay. So we know that there are different races of aliens. We know so far that there are different I wouldn't say races of Bigfoot, but types of Bigfoot based on their geological location. So are there different types of spirits, and what are they based on?
Spirits, no. Negative or malevolent entity, yeah, I can't talk. Entities, yes. So I can't really. That would be a book. That would literally be a book that FMP might write one day. But so you have parasites. You have some that feed on fear. You have, like we talked about towards the beginning of the show. That's what they thrive on. That's what they eat. That's what they grow stronger on. They're not demons. They're not demonic. And I'm going to add, too, most of our possession or demonic cases that FMP sees aren't actually demons. They're actually attachments. So attachments, just to jump into real quick, usually cause pain on the back of the neck and the lower back because they're physically attached. You can't see them. You might be able to sense them if you're any shade of abilities. But they can also, change your personality. If you're a calm person, you're going to be angry. If you're an angry person, you're unusually calm. So those are attachments. So a lot of times people that don't know what a true demon is will think they're possessed because, well, they're, the personality is different. So again, you have parasites. You have some parasites that feed off chakra energy. Some just feed off energy in general. Just like you have some alien races that feed off energy, and they're parasites as well. I'm trying to think. So we have one, I know that's like a leech. Have you ever encountered that one, Keith? It's like a parasitic leech, but it's an off-world.
If I'm hearing right, you're asking if I've ever encountered something that looks like a leech, but doesn't come from here.
Right.
Okay. Sad to say, I'm still having the same problem I was having earlier.
Okay.
You're welcome. I'm just looking for something here because the reality is, yes. And I'm just trying to remember off the top of my head. I think, if I remember correctly, that I've actually got it included in the book.
Okay, excellent.
But what it boils... Oh, that's why. Because the leech, what you say looks like a leech or looks like a live-rock.
Okay.
You're gonna look at this one.
It'd be the same one.
It's a young demon. Well, I brought quiet.
No, I'm trying to get Dreader back on the call.
Technical difficulties again.
Yeah.
Lisa's asking, how do we get rid of attachments? You call FMP.
Basically, yeah. Basically, we sit in the astral team, and they go in and remove it. So, it's kind of like pulling a leech So,
Hello.
there you are.
I'm back.
Okay, good.
Thank you.
Okay.
Now, are there any attachments that are like mutually beneficial?
Oh.
Not that I'm aware of.
I was just say I don't think there's any.
Okay.
Yeah, we haven't encountered one yet.
Yeah, they're called symbiotes.
Right. A symbiotic relationship of an attachment? No. And attachments can be spirits. Spirits can also attach in much the same way malevolent entities do. Mm-hmm. Which is why I don't agree with, these paranormal teams that go in, and I don't believe in protection. Nothing can hurt us.
Yeah.
Really? Get an attachment and then call me. But yeah, you can go to Northern State, for example, and walk out with an attachment. Not very often.
Oh, gosh. You can go to someone's house and walk out with an attachment.
Okay, so I said Northern State.
Do it too.
No, but I said Northern State only because a lot of these paranormal teams go to hot spots.
Yes, yeah.
Waverly Hills. They go to they go.
Yes.
Waverly Hills is the famous one, but I believe you have to pay Waverly Hills to actually go investigate it, which I brought up in the group a couple days ago. Why are we investigating Waverly Hills when it's been proven to be haunted years ago?
Yes.
Why are we calling it investigation? It's a haunted tour. Call it what it is.
Yeah.
But, and that's why FMP, we don't go to hot spots, because why go somewhere that's already been proven to be haunted? You're not proving anything. Catching pictures of spirits and EVPs, it's great. Some teams, that's what they do. They've got their purpose. And that's fine. But don't go to a client's house claiming you're going to help them when all you want is a picture and EVP. That's my only issue with them.
Yeah. Well, I feel that with attachments, an attachment can make you feel like, hey, I am helping you. I'm making things better for you. You're a happier person. But really, in the end, the attachment's only working you to get what they want. Haley had her attachments for over 5 years. Mm-hmm. And one of them, she really missed it because that one made her feel like he was her friend.
I would almost call that like an attachment version of Stockholm Syndrome.
Yeah, it was really hard for her to, she missed that entity.
Right.
And once she realized it really wasn't a good thing, mm-hmm. She's like, I understand that better now. That's, one other reason why she can really talk to children about what happened with her.
Right.
But, and then she had one that followed her. It just didn't stay with her, like at her house or anything. It went into stores with her. It followed her every step of her day. So I don't think any kind of attachment really is any good thing.
Okay, so Lisa's asking, she doesn't understand the difference between spirits and an attachment. So spirits are generally stuck. I'm trying how to put the words together here.
Yeah.
So when you die, you become a spirit. Now, most of the time, you pass over. However, if you and some people get stuck for reasons unknown. Most of the time, when they're stuck, it's because they had a violent death, they had an accident, a homicide. They have unfinished business, something of those nature. An attachment is what happens when you go into, someone's house. You can go to a hotspot, a paranormal hotspot, and a spirit will come home with you, or a malevolent entity will attach and come home with you. That's what an attachment is, versus just a spirit. So a spirit. You go like to Northern State, you go to someone's house, whatever, And you can get pictures of them. Sometimes those are spirits. Does that make sense, Lisa? So, any more on attachments?
Could you comment on what Starflower said?
Well, the one thing I found with attachments, the whole issue of is it possible for a mutually beneficial one to occur? The answer is definitively yes. They do.
Is it?
There are entities out there that are symbiotic in nature. If you look in nature itself on Earth, there are different organisms that are very symbiotic.
Mm-hmm.
See, that.
Why?
I have a question about one that I removed one time. Or helped remove it, whatever it was. But, yeah, Keith, I guess. Your name was the last one. What about a kind of like a squid kind of one?
The squid kind? Yeah, well, those are what I and I think I've got the name down here somewhere. I just unfortunately drawing a blank. But the octopods are very much in the running, and they do look like squids. I mean, they're I'll use the term leg loose.
Yeah.
I think if I remember the show correctly, was it called The Arrival or Arrival? It was a recent science fiction movie that came out.
That was just Arrival.
That was just Arrival.
Yeah.
Very, very good rendition of that race. Somebody was in the know that got that one.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Cool. I mean, yeah.
Okay, I got to scroll up for a second. So I'll get to your question, PBR, in a second. But Starflower, sometimes attachments or spirits can be used for protection. That depends. So attachments, I'm not going to address that because I've never seen an attachment that actually was used for protection. Spirits, however, oftentimes, so when a spirit passes over the veil and comes back, because they can come back, but they change once they've passed over. So oftentimes family members can come back to your home. These are oftentimes cases where you wake up and you smell your grandmother's perfume. Things of that nature. So yes, oftentimes family members will come back to offer protection or offer a warning. Things of that nature. Attachments themselves, I've never heard of offering protection. Is it possible? Of course. Nobody knows definitive answers. There's no such thing as an expert in this field. Our team learns something new every case we do. So, by all means, S4 is not the final answer. Ever. Again, we always encourage you to go out and do your own research as well to validate what we tell you. But we go by the cases we do, and we always learn something new on the cases we do. PBR wants to know, do familiars help with attachments? I'm thinking. I'm thinking
too.
It's not to think.
I think it's possible. I really do.
Well,
I think
they can help identify them. That's for certain.
Help remove them. I don't see it.
Not much. Although I was talking to one of my, shall we call them, friends in high places, and they do believe that they do look at attachments or other entities as helpful, as beneficial. Of course, in their linguistics, they call an extra entity cannon fodder or a shield.
Right.
From human standpoint, humans on the whole don't appreciate it when they get put in front of a conflict, in between a target and a conflict.
Okay, real quick, because we're being asked in the chat room who all's on the panel tonight, and I'm going to go over everybody and what they do. So Cole is our technical analyst. Kayla is our research specialist. We have Matt, I think. Matt, you still here?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, you've just been quiet for the last hour. So Matt is one of our boots on ground techs. We have Chris and Brent. Chris is on the extended care team. Brent is on the astral team. We have our Keith Andrews, our alien race specialist. We have Jaretta and Haley. Jaretta is on the extended care team, and Haley is our peer support specialist.
Yes. Yeah.
I'm trying to think how to correctly. So I want to throw a disclaimer on there as well. So yes, because I catch hell sometimes. How dare you have a child or a minor on your team? So Haley does not go boots on ground until. Actually, Haley's never been boots on ground. She's telephonic.
Yes.
So what Haley does is when we have child cases, she is peer support because she's been through hell. And she can relate to what a child is going through involving the paranormal. So she's a big asset when it comes to a lot of the child cases we wind up doing. But, yeah. And then, of course, we have FMP Junior Team, and, well, that's a whole nother discussion. But, anyway, where were we? Attachments.
I've got a question out of my other question.
Okay, that's your second question. Go ahead.
Okay, well, I have a different question to get all that stuff. Anyways, if you're grounding and shielding properly, wouldn't that help prevent from getting that attachment?
No. Let me explain. Grounding and shielding will protect against most things. It is not 100%. Ever.
Okay.
Again, it will protect in most things, but it is not it's not ever 100% accurate.
It's not a perfect science.
Right. It's great on most cases, but it depends on what you're dealing with. If you're dealing with a demon's going to tear through most of your shields, guaranteed. That's why Astral deals with demons. You'll never find boots on ground dealing with a demon. We find out it's demonic because let me back up. Demons are highly rare. If it's a true demon. So if you figure we deal with 2 to 5 cases a day, you do the math because I suck at math. But 2 to 5 cases a day at the minimum, and we might have one demonic case a year. So,
not bad. 1 in 1,500-ish.
Right. So they're extremely rare. And no, invoking the name of Jesus. No. Do we need to go into the religious discussion again? No. So I can't tell you how many. I can't tell you how many.
Has nothing to do with it.
I can't tell you how many cases we've done where we've actually had. They actually call in a priest. They actually call in a shaman. They actually called in the Evangelical Association, and it didn't fix a damn thing.
Sure it did. It stopped the entity from being bored.
Oh, it just pissed him off even more. But so yes. It depends on how much faith. Just calling on Jesus' name isn't going to do anything. You have to have faith in your belief. And even if you have faith in your belief, it really depends on what you're dealing with. It really. Think of it this way, and we've had this talk before, Keith. I'm talking about the stuck spirit, not the spirit that's passed over. Yes, they change. The stuck spirit. If they were an atheist and you call in a priest, do you think that spirit's they're gonna laugh and then they're gonna get mad? So take religion out of it.
Well, the thing is, if you're going to use religion, you better find out what it is that the entity actually believed in.
And that takes a whole lot of research because you got to figure out who that entity is or who that spirit is before you can even think about what religion they might have been.
Yeah, and half the religions are, well, to say the least, half the religions are extinct.
Right. So, in answer to what fixed the problem that I was just talking about, while the team went in and had the entity isolated and trapped in about 20 minutes, it really, what it boils down to is going in, interacting, dealing with it, and going into astral combat if you need to. That's what it boils down to. Not running in and invoking a deity's name. That's not your fix-all. Sage is not your fix-all either. But that's a whole other discussion too. And Jaretta, we don't get to pick on you too often. So
don't pick on me.
From the extended care side of things, when do we use Sage?
Well, I can tell. Yeah, I can tell you when.
Be nice.
Usually, when I talk to a client and ask them if they'd staged their home, what I kind of explain to them is by, what you want to tell, Haley? What I usually explain to them is, the sage helps to clean the energy in the home from negative. It just kind of helps to take out the negative energy from the home, along with you also, you can salt, you could put your crystals out, you can do your essential oils if you want to. It's what works for that person. But that's kind of what does that make sense?
Yep.
Okay.
So, and it really gets annoying because there's this big misconception, and they show it on TV all the time, so it must be true.
Yes.
Too many people think TV is reality. It's entertainment.
It's the truth.
It's
Do you mean I can't be a Kardashian?
No.
Oh.
So Sage is great for afterwards.
Yes.
And we don't use sage on the team. We actually use a blend of frankincense, myrrh, sage, rosemary, and a couple of other odds and ends. But you don't run into, I get annoyed. So when someone goes in our group and asks for help, the first 10 comments are usually, grab some sage. No.
Yes.
Don't grab sage. Please don't. You're going to piss it off even more. So, sage is great for covering up that smell of weed.
No, but okay, that's a good question. Is that going to calm a spirit down?
Weed?
I'm getting there.
I don't know. I'll have Brent ask one next time. I'll have Brent talk to the spirit and see what they say.
Oh, pass the joint, puff, puff, pass. But no. So
talking about your sage, Eric.
I'm talking about
the case
sage.
I did today.
Right.
The case I did today with the client when I taught her protection, I said there's 3 steps. The first step is we come in and deal with the problem. The second step is I work on you, grounding and shielding. The third step is we work on your residence. So it goes in that order.
Or business. Or property.
Yeah.
It goes into a whole array. And there's many moving pieces. We have scientists, we have a psychiatric therapist, we have video and audio and photo analysts. We have a whole array of consultants that are on this team. But you're absolutely right. First, get rid of the problem. Second, work on the client. Third, work on the residents. In that order. And there's a whole lot of pieces in between. Trust me, they get annoying. Anyway, so Sage. Sage is great if you have a very, very basic, weak spirit. It might remove it. Or them. I'm being disrespectful. He or she. It might remove them. It doesn't mean they won't come back. You've got to pass them over. And I'm going to back up for a second because not all spirits need to be passed over. You know, for example, here in Concrete, we have a spirit in a certain business that he's 22 years old, died in the 1900s. He's having the time of his life. Doesn't want to pass over, not causing any problems, so why are we going to pass him over? We don't need to. The ones that need to be forced over. And I always think back to a certain roundtable that we had at Paracon where I was accused of, well, your team is the judge, jury, and executioner. Well, yes and no. We don't go in and automatically destroy what needs to be destroyed. We find what the root is. And when I say that, I always think about the troll case. Because in that case, we found out why they were here and understood that they really didn't want to be here any more than the client wanted them here. So we reopened the door that came through, got them home, and closed the door. We find out what the root is. So we find out who the spirit is, why they're here, and then we help them get home, which is passed over. Now, in some cases, we can actually work out a contract or a deal between the spirit and the client to where they didn't understand that, you know, they didn't want to leave their home. And once they understood that they were causing problems, the client was okay with them staying there. So, case closed. Spirit can stay. Client's happy. That's the final outcome. So we don't sage until after the root problem is gone or an agreement's made. If agreement's made, we don't need to sage at all.
Yeah.
Now, are there different types of sage, and is there a better one to use?
So there's so many different sages out there. You know, they've got sage mixed with cedar. They've got sage mixed with pine. They've got sage. You know, it's turned into a market.
Yeah, there's white sage. There's regular. There's.
The best sage to use is just plain old organic white sage. Now, cedar is very protective and very healing. So if you want some healing energy thrown into it, get the sage cedar mix. But again, personally, we go for the strong stuff, and that's frankincense, myrrh, rosemary, and sage.
Yeah.
And then I came across a client that could not be around sage, so that I had to tell him, you know, to use just the cedar by itself.
Yeah.
And you might run into that once in a while. Yeah.
You do. You have to work with what the client needs. That's the final. That's the final authority right there. Kayla. Oh, Kayla.
Yeah.
What's your next question?
Okay. So I'm sure some of you have heard of them, but for anybody who hasn't, the Norse warriors, the berserkers, okay, they were said to enter a trance-like fury and shapeshift or transform into wolves, bears, or wild bulls. And become like super strong, superhuman. Hey, now, what do you guys think that is? Like, do you think it's them channeling something, or
really good weed? I'm sorry, I'm stuck on weed right now. I don't know.
Peyote. Keith, you got an answer for that? I don't. I'm at loss.
Actually, I do. What you're looking at, those North Berserkers, what they did was they tapped directly into Gaia and the Yitzhak, depending on who you want to talk to, and pulled the image, pulled that overlay in to help frighten to really draw on that inner strength to frighten their opponents. And in all fairness, it worked like a charm. But that's what it boiled down to.
Adrenaline?
Adrenaline is where the strength and the speed came in. It also is why they didn't feel pain. But if you can tap directly into the heart of the earth, into the full complexity of the neural net, you can do some rather amazing things.
Well, so would that boil down to the mother that gets in a car wreck and can pick up the car because her kid's underneath it?
Yes. Same idea.
Mm-hmm.
Only the mother doesn't usually grab a battle axe.
Well, no.
okay? So they just found a way to pick up that same type of energy, but at will.
In their field, yes.
Okay.
Perfect. Okay. Chris, what's your next question?
Yes.
I sound like a game show when I say that.
Okay, my question is for you, Eric. Are you ready?
Oh, good God. No. Of course. What?
Yes, you are. No, I've never heard this before. Okay.
Okay.
So, a lot of the paranormal teams that are out there, not the ones on TV, the teams, I've heard and noticed that a lot of them do not have an astral team. So, what made you decide, and how did it come about for you to have an astral team on FMP?
Okay. So, from 2004 to 2012, the way FMP handled cases was we focused only on boots on ground. If we got clients that were outside, our realm, say Wisconsin, say Norway, I would try to find them a team that was in their area. So Tony jumped into FMP. Now, backing up a little bit, Tony was actually with Forest Moon Grove. We supported pagan troops because I ran groups in Iraq that had pagan troops. So when I got out of Iraq and I knew I wasn't going to be deploying anymore, Forest Moon Grove was started, and we continued to support troops that were pagan, that were deployed. Tony was one of them. He was in Iraq. When he got back, he jumped into FMP. And we were talking one day. And he was talking about astral travel, and of course him and Izzy were hitting it off because she astral travels. And I asked him, so, is it possible, since you astral, that you could communicate with spirits, remove demons, malevolent entities, whatever the case is, and handle paranormal issues that way? And he said, well, let's try it and see. And, well, it was successful, and we knew that it was going to take more than just one person astral, so we started the astral school. We went from there, and, well, the rest is history. Make sense?
Totally.
All right. So yeah, and then I'm not sure when Richard jumped in. Tony didn't have time to teach anymore. And of course we had a lot of bumps in the road over the years that I'm not going to get into. People breaking away, people coming back, people coming in. And Richard jumped in, I believe it was about 2014, 2015. He took over the astral teaching. And, of course, again, the rest is history. And, again, we've had astral that came and went. And now we have 4 graduates.
When you started it, was it hard to get people to do the astral?
No, not at all. In fact, to be honest, we had a kick-ass team. And we have a kick-ass team now, but we need more. Don't get me wrong. But back then, we just, it was like, No, we had a kick-ass team that just went in, didn't even take names, they just got the job done, came home.
Yeah.
And we didn't start doing the alien abduction until, what year is it? I want to say 2017, because it's been 2 years since he's been abducted, and we stopped his abductions, and he hasn't had any more issues. And then, we've stopped, I think, 5 abductions in the time we were doing abduction, handling alien abduction cases, until the MyLab. And it was the MyLab that stopped everything.
Yeah.
So.
Well, let's face nothing personal, but you're just not qualified to stop MyLab.
No, I don't think anyone is. I think the alien races themselves need to get involved to actually stop MyLabs.
Yeah, remember that non-interference thing?
Yeah, I know. That's why they'll never be stopped.
Those are pretty scary cases.
Mm-hmm.
I have no idea about that at all.
Okay, we're getting down to the last 5 minutes of the second hour. So, Brent, where are you at?
He's on mute.
Of course he is. What's your second question, Brent?
He was making coffee.
You didn't make coffee before the show?
I did, but we went through it.
Fail. All right, what's your second question?
Has everybody else been covered?
Mm-hmm.
Good.
Yeah, we're actually on track tonight.
Yikes.
Right?
Something's going to happen.
You can't pass the buck.
Knock on wood.
Oh, wait.
Rub the lucky rabbit's foot. Do something.
Yeah, I know. I tapped
Tap
the
on your
microphone.
microphone.
Good. Yep. There we go. Okay. Brent, second question.
Okay. I have a last one pertaining to the group, actually. What about, you teach astral, you teach extended care. What about any other kind of, classes? Can you teach, to see different things, in the fourth realm, per se, without, astral traveling?
That's something we'll have to look into. As far as who wants to instruct that. But yeah, as far as you're talking about seeing fairies and things of that nature.
Yeah, well, yeah. Yeah, obviously not Bigfoot, unfortunately. I'd love to see him, but...
Well, we might actually be expanding the team here soon. If he's even listening tonight, we might have a couple more guys jumping into the team that are Bigfoot investigators. So we might find Bigfoot. We've got to get the camera out of the mountain so we can see if we actually have a picture of Bigfoot. And so that comes too with the next phase of what we're going to be doing next year is once we get our 501c, we are going to be hitting up companies for sponsorship, both with FMP, the team, and with S4. So what can we offer them? We can offer them advertising, both on S4 and on the websites that we run, in exchange for equipment. Whether we, whether they have game cams that we can be setting up to catch things, whether they have proximity meters that we can be using on investigations, and things of that nature. ICS base camp set up, tents, sleeping bags, things of that nature. So, yeah, things will be expanding. This team never slows down. I'll say that. And I'm not even talking about the caseload. I'm talking about the investigations that we plan, the more mountain operations, things like that. So
helping the community.
Every year we get bigger, we get more expansive. And I like it that way. I'll be done with school in December, and then I'll have a lot more time to be planning things. So get ready. So, on that note, my mind's not shutting down. We're going to go ahead and go to break, and then we will go to question number 3.
You are listening to S4 on Spreaker.com.
Come get spooked at the 4th Annual Forest Moon Paracon in Cedar-Woolley, Washington, Saturday, September 28th. UFOs, ghosts, aliens, Bigfoot. Speakers include Mike Morin and Jason Jordan, R. Keith Andrews, and Dave Scott from Spaced Out Radio, and so much more. There will be workshops and a VIP roundtable. Get early bird tickets now at fmparacon.com.
We've had several days of 80-degree plus weather here in Concrete, Washington. My family's favorite way to keep cool in this heat is to stop by Java Zone 2 and grab a delicious iced latte for me and a blended mocha for my husband. Our son just loves their creamy milkshakes, and our daughter can't get enough of their ice cream. The best part is, Java Zone 2 is conveniently located just off Highway 20 beside Loggers Landing. And I'm proud to shop local for a business that has been a staple of the Concrete and Upriver community since it opened its doors in 2010. So if you're looking for a way to keep cool in this summer heat, come check out Java Zone 2. They're fast, friendly, and local.
Hello, my name's Cole Wegleitner with Statement of Sound DJ Productions. We do mixing, monitoring, recording, and editing for all your audio needs. For our local listeners in the Skagit area, we are taking bookings for your 2019 events and parties. We have a wide array of music from any genre. Please allow us to help you make these memories last forever. Contact us at 360-999-2830 or on Facebook at www.facebook.com/SOSDJPro.
Forest Moon Paranormal is a non-for-profit emergency response team that handles all aspects of the paranormal, helping you, your family, friends, and community since 2004. Whether you're having a problem with hauntings, spirits, Bigfoot, other types of cryptids, or UFO activity. Maybe you're just unsure of what's bothering or terrifying you. Or maybe you're just afraid of criticism and disbelief. FMP is here for you. We handle cases globally and locally from our headquarters in Skagit County, Washington. We never accept any form of payment for our services and are 100% confidential. You can find us on Facebook under Forest Moon Paranormal. You can private message us for assistance, or just come join in the discussion and become part of our growing FMP community.
Are you having encounters with the paranormal, supernatural, or ufological that you cannot explain? Look no further than the SOR Sightlines Report, brought to you by the Experiencers Support Association. This is Ryan Stacy. head of the Research Association, TESSA. Soon on the Spaced Out Radio website, you'll be able to file your reports and have them researched for you. We are independent and ready to help Spaced Out Radio listeners today.
Join us on September 28th at the Cedro Woolley Community Center for 2019 Forest Moon Paranormal Paracon. VIP All Access passes on sale now at fmparacon.com. Your pass includes all-day admission to see the speakers and workshops, the Ghost Walk, a special VIP workshop, a special roundtable with the speakers, a Paracon t-shirt, and an FMP Paracon swag bag. These tickets can be purchased from fmparacon.com. Get yours today.
Hey everyone, Cole here with S4 Paranormal Radio, the official voice of Forest Moon Paranormal. Looking for a way to get the word out there about your business, group, team, or product? Let us help you. A few clicks is all it takes to get started at s-4radio.com, or you can contact me at 360-999-2830.
Welcome back to S4 with your host, Eric Cooper.
Welcome back to S4. Tonight it's our August Roundtable. You can also find the archives at our Spreaker site and on the S4 YouTube channel for all the shows you missed in the last 3 years. Now back to the show. Alright, so we lost Matt. Matt just got too tired. He couldn't handle 3 hours. So he's gone. So he's asked his third question. He just didn't hear it, neither did I. So Haley, what is question number 3?
Haley, question number 3.
Yes. Okay. So, I actually remember this one. So, for question number 3, I was wondering why UFOs, when we see them or get them on camera or any other evidence we have, they're always in pairs, or there's a third one and then they split off. Why are they always in pairs?
So, I've never actually seen them in pairs. UFO sightings, personally, that I've had, it was only one craft. And I've had 5 different sightings. Now, what's interesting about it, and also, bear in mind, it depends on which race it is, if it's even an extraterrestrial craft anyway. But, oftentimes, they can actually switch. So you have 100 people, and they should all see the same craft, but only 2 of them see it, because they can switch off crowds. What's the word for that, Keith?
For being able to block it out?
Yeah. It's not screen, it's screen. It's not screen memory.
No, it's not. What it is triphasic optical configuration. Basically speaking,
right.
The ship exists in the past, present, and future all at the same time and flips between the 3. As far as the optical, kind of like a shadow image.
And that makes sense.
If not mistaken.
So what you got to understand too, today, in the last couple of years actually, a lot of, they won't show themselves as craft. Here they do. So Washington State is number 1 in the U.S. for the most UFO sightings. Sometimes they'll appear as clouds. So these are the clouds that don't shift. It's like the cloud is moving by itself. And is that new technology, Keith, or is that something they've always had?
That's something they've had for centuries.
Okay.
It's called ionization. But the other is, you got to remember that a lot of these races have a major military component, meaning the dual flight path. is the wingman syndrome. Now let's take back up with you.
I see.
Answer your question?
Yes, I did actually.
So in October, actually probably November, we'll do the UFO alien portion of our training again. I don't think you took it last year, did you?
Took what?
Yeah, our UFO training?
No, I didn't.
Yeah. So you'll learn a lot more about UFOs and alien races. Especially when Keith brings his new book. Cole. Cole.
Yeah.
What's your
up?
third and last question?
Come back to me for a minute. I'm just checking something.
Oh, good God. Kayla. Where did Kayla go?
I'm right here.
Uh-huh. You falling asleep too?
What? No.
What is your third question?
Okay. This one's a little bit weird, and a lot of you might not have even heard of it. So, you know me. I research really random stuff, and it's what I do in my spare time because it's my passion. So I was watching some documentaries and some different things on something called the Voynich manuscripts. Okay, so basically they're a manuscript that nobody knows the language to, and they've been trying to decode it for years but can't figure out a way to do it. What I noticed about that, though, is looking at different Atlantean texts, or what would be considered an Atlantean type style of writing, it's very similar in certain aspects. And I'm wondering if maybe this would be like a question for our Keith, if maybe this is a copy of some form of an Atlantean text.
It is possible, and I missed the name of the. I remember the text you're talking about. I just forgot what the name of it was that you were referring that you called it.
The Voynich manuscripts.
Right. Okay. And by the feel of it, the problem is much more likely that it's not so much just a copy of an Atlantean text, as they may not be Terran texts at all. In other words, because as I remember, with the Voynich manuscript, there are something like 5 different languages tied into it.
Right, like it has aspects of so many different things. It's like a Tower of Babel exploded into a book.
Yeah.
Right.
See, if I don't have a copy of it, obviously, but I am curious if anybody has ever bothered taking those, and this hopefully just to get back to them. I'm wondering if anybody has bothered taking an image of all of the pages and doing an overlay.
Doing an overlay of all the pages, right?
Yeah, try phase of communication. You write out a message on one page. Write out a second message on a second page, and you write out a third message on a third page. When you lay them on top of each other, it gives you the fourth message.
Right, like an ancient codex.
Essentially, yes.
Okay. All right. I might have to do that, actually, just to check it out.
If you've got a copy of it, that'd be fantastic.
Yes. Yes, I do.
For real?
For real. It's PDF files and everything, but I can definitely copy those off and put them into...
Onion skin is the best paper to work with. Mind you, with video, you might be able to do it that way. I am not a videotape.
Right, so I can just overlap them on the PDF file and see if there's something written in there. That'd be cool.
Yeah, the neat little what you might have to do with that, just a suggestion. And I use backwards technology anyway, but if you copy them from the PDF into Paint and then overlay the Paint, it'll give you the solid thing. It'll link them all together.
Okay, yeah, that might be next step there.
And that's why you're a research specialist. All right.
Thank you, Arkeith.
Yes.
Chris.
Well, I thought I answered the question.
No,
Yeah.
I was just saying thank you.
Yeah, she
Well,
has.
if I seem confused, it's only because I am.
She has her next step to solving the riddle. Chris.
Yes.
What is your last question?
Okay. So, going up to some cases that we've done, I want to talk about tribal land. They're hard cases to do. They can be difficult. But I guess my question is, that I'm curious about, certain tribes have certain, I know I can't figure the verbiage I want to say. Certain tribes, I would assume, have certain rituals and certain respect that they pay towards their dead. So each tribe would have different rituals, correct? Or is the Indian nation pretty much the same towards the respect of their dead and the land? You see what I'm trying to ask?
Yeah, and that'd be a Cole question. I know every tribe or every clan has their own specific methods and their own rituals.
Mm-hmm.
I believe honoring the land is the common denominator with all of them, isn't it, Cole?
Almost. There are some tribes where the most honorable thing you can do is kill someone. So, like, not anymore, per se, but like, let's say back in the days of the Old West, a lot of the tribes were considered bloody not only amongst the white man, but also amongst other tribes. They didn't care who you were. If you weren't them, you were dead.
Would the dog man be one of those?
No, it'd be more offshoots of the Apache.
Okay.
What about Cole, like, you know, in some of the cases that we've had and that you've experienced with us, you leave offerings is I guess that's what I'm getting at too. Offerings on the sacred ground, is it pretty much the same type of offering with all the different tribes, or again, are they all different?
Well, it is and it isn't. That's the thing. Like, your offering is almost always the same, but it's the words that are said usually. The thing is, when it comes to an offering, it's just like anything else. It's truly believed within the native people, whenever you do it with the full intent of truly offering to that spirit. Yeah.
Okay.
Without honestly receiving anything in return, that is the best case.
Right. Okay.
But like, honestly, like 90% of the tribes can't even, there's no one left that can actually do a true offering in the days of old. Like, it's not, half of the languages are gone.
Yeah.
You know, so it's pretty, we have what we have with what has been passed down, but because, like, we never wrote books.
Right, it was just passed down.
Yeah, so it
Right.
makes it hard to continue that tradition the way it was. But you do want to, like, if you're ever going to do an offering, the best bet is to take a look at the tribe, try and find some information about their past, and find what, so, like, you wouldn't offer a Plains tribe a fish from the ocean. You wouldn't make that type of offer. You would offer them a grain or small piece of meat. Tobacco is pretty much everywhere because we all love to smoke. So,
Yeah.
But when it comes to foods, you want to match out what they would have had when they were alive.
Right. And so you basically answered that. I mean, you said one thing that we could get away with all of the tribes is the tobacco.
Oh, yeah.
So that was one of my questions, yeah.
Well, almost. Like, if you go towards the Arctic tribes, it's a little harder because there wasn't that much tobacco around up there, ever.
Right.
But it still would be considered a good offering because our people have always been traders. We traded for everything. So, again, most of us. It's pretty hard to trade when the guy's trying to throw an axe at your head. But
yeah.
That brings up an interesting question here for you, Cole.
Okay.
What if you leave a offering of tobacco and it upsets one of the spirits, one of the natives? If you mean well, but it's the wrong gift per se. I mean,
Well, then you call Cole and you send the upset spirit after Cole.
Right.
So, our spirits, like, okay, so it also, like, with your tribes here, tobacco might not always be the best one, you're right. But, like, you got to think, what would a native tribesman in the olden days, what would they have used? Well, no, not all of them. That's the thing. But a lot of them would have used cedar. Cedar would have been a great gift. You know? Think of how many of them made canoes.
Yeah. Or maybe
You know?
or anything like that.
Yeah, any small pieces of animal, but that's the other thing is we got to be careful with that because you got to look at how the animal was killed. You got to remember that back in the day they used every single part of the animal.
Well, and with that though, weren't some animals sacred, depending on the tribe?
Depending on the tribe. Mine, no, we ate everything.
And that's really where that's really where the research has to come into play, though. You have to know which tribe you're dealing with and where they came from, because they were very, you and I have talked about this before. All the tribes were nomadic. So where did those tribes originate? And then what piece is going to be a good offering based on where they originated?
Changing from bad Catholic to bad native. We all originated from Siberia, so vodka's a good one.
Yes.
Oh, wow. Okay, but when you're dealing with that too, you got to understand that within each native tribe, there's offshoots of that tribe as well. Okay, so you can say, like, for instance, we'll go Nooksack. We'll do one that's more local. So the Nooksack Indians, they have the Nooksack, but then they have family offshoots too, like tribes within tribes. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's where a major piece of research has to come into play. In those cases, a lot of the times it's good to have contacts within the community to ask them this specific family name and where this family name originated and how this is tied into their culture, their tribe, if it actually is a full-fledged member of their tribe, or if they are part of, let's say for that would be maybe their father was Lummi, maybe the mother was Nooksack. So then you have to look back onto that too.
Yeah, yeah.
That's a huge research piece that you have to do before you go into those type of cases.
Right. Yeah.
Excellent. Unfortunately, we don't have a whole lot of native cases, but when we do, we call Cole. And Brent, what is your third and last question?
Oh, crap, I was hoping that would be on this one. No, okay, that's right. I forgot it for a moment, but I remembered. Now, I don't recall ever hearing it being documented, I guess you could say. But what about science and astral travel?
Okay, say that again.
Possible to link? No. What about linking science to astral travel? Is that
so? That's a hard one.
Can you do it?
We've actually never. So what I'd like to try sometime is taking an SLS camera and seeing if astral can actually be picked up on them.
Oh, there you go.
So
you know what's another thing I'd like to try?
What's that?
IC doesn't like it.
I would like to try, like, if we could get a scale that went to the 10th of a pound and put Brent on it and have him go astral. Remember that whole thing where the scientists put someone on a scale just before they passed, and then when their soul left, they actually lost weight?
So bear in mind, but when you're astral, it's not your soul leaving. I'd still be curious if there's a differentiation between being astral and not.
Yeah.
I think I can tell you this: an EEG will pick up if the astral body leaves, because they do not like it when you do that in ICU.
Yeah, that's what I would go more for the magnetic imaging, like CT or ultrasound or anything that's capturing brain waves and different activities in your body.
Yeah, it'll pick it up. But I will tell you, the hospital techs get really edgy about it.
I was just about to say the chance of us getting our own CT scan machine.
No,
probably not going to happen. I think the best we're going to come up with is trying SLS camera or even EMF and seeing if it picks up astral when they're traveling or when they're on location.
Yeah. Or like maybe not the spirit box, but do like a EVP kind of thing.
Right. But as far as science with astral, no, it's to my knowledge anyway, it's never been proven or done. With the exception of the CIA with the remote viewing program. Now again, that wasn't scientifically done, but that was done through intelligence gathering and, validating the intelligence they gathered versus what was physically happening.
Yeah.
And here I thought that was scientific.
Well, kind of. But, you've still got the skeptics to go, well, that's, that could have been coincidence.
Mm-hmm.
Coincidences like that, I'm going to Vegas.
Well, yeah. Tell me the loud numbers.
It isn't a coincidence when Brent can hear an accent on the client talking.
Oh, no, I fully agree. But you got to always look at the ones that are going to play devil's advocate with that.
Oh, yeah.
Well, made her husband speechless, or fiance speechless, that's for sure.
Honestly, it's the clients that matter, not the scientific community per se.
Absolutely.
The skeptics, they can stay skeptical. I really don't care. The ones that like to ridicule our team because, we're just fringe, I really don't care. It's the 2 to 5 cases a day that we do, that we solve and fix, that matter.
Yep.
So, Keith, what's your third question?
Well, oddly enough, this has to do actually with the with Paracon coming up. But did you guys manage, or is this actually asking to pop a bubble? Did you guys manage to get at least a rendition of a UFO built?
No, we didn't. We have Bigfoot though. So
you get a render Bigfoot.
So the UFO that we're going to design and build is actually going to be for the Christmas parade in Cedar Woolley. So we haven't started on that yet.
Yeah, you just got to make the thing fly, right?
That would be great.
Okay, come on, guys, stop it.
All we need is a little mercury. Come on, let's do this.
Oh.
Well, that's your job. You got the electronics on it.
I have enough jobs right now.
Here's the deal. If we make a UFO fly, we're going to have all those Storm Area 51 people coming to concrete. And we don't need that either.
Well, all you do is you put it
Wait a
on a
minute.
cherry picker.
Let's discuss this a little further. You're
Okay.
talking about making this UFO fly, but then you're also talking about putting my husband in it. Wait a minute.
Bye-bye, Brent.
Pretty sure Brent wouldn't have a problem with it.
No, we'll give him flight lessons.
No.
Okay. Crash course, huh?
Yep.
We could even make our own spacesuit for you. You'd be fine.
Exactly. Made of tinfoil.
And we have
Just
to
make it
remember
out of
to
bubble
take
wrap.
the one and a half handy.
Bubble wrap, yeah.
Bubble bunch. So is it me or is there a chat room frozen or is everyone just going to sleep?
I think yours is frozen. My TBR just commented. I'm going to try one.
Okay, then my chat room is frozen. So y'all need to handle the questions that come up. God,
Okay.
Technology.
You know, Tripper Fool just brought one in.
The last comment I got was Lisa saying, Don, I was tired earlier, but cracking up at Rich woke me up.
Oh, that was a while ago.
Yeah, I know. I kind of figured usually the chat room is hopping, and mine's not.
Haley, you're funny.
So I'm sorry, folks. If your questions aren't getting addressed, it's because I'm just not seeing them. Oh. So, Keith, if I'm hearing you right, you're going to bring us blueprints of how to make a UFO fly?
Well, I can tell you how.
Okay,
you build
excellent.
the put her on a cherry picker. She'll look like she flies.
That would work.
Either that, or if I recall, one of you guys is actually a demolitions expert. You should be able to put enough of it to get it off the ground.
Well, we don't want to, but we don't want to hurt Brent.
I wasn't
Yeah.
blowing him up. Hey, I'm just not the one that said put anybody in the UFO.
But
I just didn't make it fly.
But if I put demolitions under it, then it's going to hurt Brent. We don't need to do that.
Only if you put Brent in it.
Well, yeah.
It would just be another broken bone or more cuts and bruises, you know.
You don't need another surgery.
Trust me, you put him in that, he will.
It's okay. His knee is fine.
Oh, so Cole, let's jump back over to you. And what's your last question for the night?
Who?
Cole.
Oh, me.
That's you.
Okay. So, I would like everyone's opinion on social technology and what impact it has had on paranormal studies. Has it been positive or negative?
I would say.
In which aspect? In society?
Yeah.
In society with like how we study the paranormal and has the impact of social technology, so like Facebook and YouTube and Twitter and all of them, has it been positive or negative?
I think both. I think it's been positive on the side of exposure. It's bringing more and more people out talking about it. It's bringing the people that need help out talking about it. On the negative side, it's bringing out the attention seekers. I was trying to think of how to explain that. But yeah, the attention seekers are bringing out more fake. Admit it. Anymore, you don't know what's fact or fiction. You don't know if that UFO video is real or if someone has made it up. So it's a positive and a negative. It's bringing information technology to the forefront. If you want to find something, as long as you can validate the truth of it, you can find it at your fingertips. So on that, yeah, it's great. It's positive and negative.
Well, that's why I said that with everything, you take it at a grain of salt and you do your own research to back it up. Mm-hmm. You have to do your own research. You have to get viable research from so many different places, different books, different past stories, all of different kinds of research, and come to a final conclusion on your own.
But most people don't do valid research. Most people throw opinion as fact, like the news media, like a lot of researchers. It's not fact. It's not proven. It's your opinion.
Right. It would be like people citing Wikipedia as an actual source.
Oh my God.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, in all fairness, Wikipedia is an actual source. It's not a good one, but it is a source.
Yes.
It's not a scholarly source, though.
But I guess what I'm saying, yeah.
Anybody can make an article for Wikipedia. In fact, we're going to make a Forest Moon Paranormal article for Wikipedia. And it's going to be based on
Hey,
fact.
Cole.
Yes.
Cole, I think my opinion is that Facebook has been very negative for Area 51 lately.
That's an understatement.
It makes it easier for the government to spy or anybody to spy as well.
Well, you give the right person a name. You don't even need a last name. A name and a partial description of a person, and they can tell you pretty much every detail of where that person lives, what that person's phone number is. With enough research, anybody can do that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So the problem with all this social media is the fact that, yes, it's bringing up all these, it's bringing more awareness to everything, but it's also bringing so much falsification to everything too, that you really have to check your sources. You really have to make sure that this is valid and this is an actual, I don't even know how to put that, but yeah.
So, when I do research, I'll take an article, for example, and I will look for a minimum of 3 independent sources that say the same thing or close to the same thing. And that's how I validate information. YouTube videos. You take information off a YouTube video, and then you Google it. And hopefully you can pull up 3 valid sources that can confirm or deny the existence. I don't even believe Snopes, because a lot of the information you get is based on one side or another of politics. So you can't even, you have a Trump bashing article. Of course you're going to find validation of something Trump supposedly did on the liberal side. But look at the conservative side and see if they say the same thing. That's how you might be able to validate some of it. That's why I don't even pay attention to the news anymore. Al Jazeera or the BBC, you might find some truth. But don't watch Fox, don't watch CNN, don't watch MSNBC unless you're willing to take that news story and look for another source.
Oh.
What?
Oh, nothing. Nothing at all.
Well, I don't know about you guys. I haven't been napping, but the problem is I lose a lot with SAD simply because Skype is acting really stupid tonight.
Yeah. So, Keith, are you excited about Paracon?
I am. Still stressed out on putting the money together to get there, but am I excited about it? Yes. And will I pull it off? I always do.
Indeed you do. And you have for the last 3 years.
No, this will be my third.
Yeah,
I missed the first one.
that's what I meant.
I missed it in the first one.
And how close to your book is it? How close is your book to being done?
Now, that's a little hard to say. I do have the baseline for 56 races done. I've still got it. Within the next 2 or 3 days, I will be adding a whole chunk of information on the consortium itself.
Excellent.
And I think I've got the first of the 56 races. I think right now I filled in the information on about a quarter of them. But I got a lot of time. Because it'll only take a few days to print it once I go to the printer.
You've got 34 days. Actually, less than that.
Yeah, less than that.
Because you'll be here in 33 days.
Getting it printed is actually the easiest part. Affording the flight down there is going to be the fun part.
Right. Oh, let's see. So, we're coming down to the last 15 minutes of the show. And August 31st, next week. So, next week we're going to talk active shooter and terrorist attack response. Why? Like I said in the beginning of the show, school starts September 4th for our community. There's always the chance of a school shooting. There's always the chance of a mall shooting or a church shooting. That's just the culture we live in today. Watch the news. So it's just really training that everybody needs to know. They train first responders. They train the fire department. They train emergency management. They train law enforcement, but they don't ever train the general public. That's, to me, sorry. Because it's the general public that's going to be right there in the mall or right there sitting in church. You know, a good 15, 20 minutes before the cops are going to show up.
Mm-hmm.
And it's the general public that needs to know this. They have the information at their fingertips if they're willing to look it up. But do they? No. So, S4 has always been a public service with regard to disaster preparedness, things of that nature. And it looks like actually my Skype turned off. Okay. God, I love technology, folks. How many times have I said that tonight? So I'm about to call everybody back in. Actually, probably join in an existing phone call. And here we go. All right, so we are still here. We have 20 minutes left for the show tonight. And... oh.
There you are.
Hi.
Yeah, Skype dropped everybody. But, you know, it's not S4 without a Skype drop. It just ain't. So it's going to call Matt. It's going to call everybody back in. It's probably going to call Dawn, too, in California.
Great.
Oh. So I'm going to go over the schedule real quick. We are in the last 20 minutes of the show, folks. But Actor Shooter is next week. Also, Terrorist Response. So, for those that don't know, I'm almost done with my bachelor's degree in Homeland Security, and my capstone is due in September. Now, a capstone is a 20-page thesis, and I'm doing my thesis on extremist groups and terrorist groups in the United States. Mm-hmm. And I picked that topic because there's so much Islamophobia in this country based on certain politicians. And Islam is not the problem. Religious extremism in general is the problem. And there's more terrorism and more extremist groups in this country than there is a threat of Islam coming here and staging an attack.
Odd question, but have you noticed something rather depressingly obvious to me in the news, which is playing right into what you're writing about? If you look at the news, when there's a murderer or any sort of crime going on, they always every time I've looked at it, they've specified who the individual was by name, except in one situation.
Right.
The media seems to pin down whenever the murderer happens to be Muslim. They point that out, not the person's name.
Well,
in no one case do they seem to specify the religion of any of the other murderers or other shooters. Just an observation.
No, I fully agree. Who else in the Skype chat right now?
So we're missing Chris, Brent, and Doretta. Anyone on a phone?
Yep.
Okay.
My phone's sitting beside me telling me we lost all the above people.
It's not letting me call anybody in. And we've got... So let them know that we're wrapping up the show. Because Skype's acting up. It's not letting me call anybody else in. It's not giving me the add calls to the feature here. And again, gotta love technology. I probably said that about 20 times tonight. So, on that note, I want to thank everybody for listening tonight. It's been a great roundtable, minus, all the technological issues that we work with here. So, September 7th is going to be another fun show. We're doing Paranormal Investigators, What's It Take to Be a Good One? What is required, what should be required in this field to work with the public on paranormal investigation? And then the 14th, September is going to be a unique month because September 14th we're doing a roundtable. So that on the 21st we can do our pre-Paracon show. And then there's not going to be a show on the 28th because we're going to be doing VIP Roundtable. So on that note, I want to thank everybody that was on the show tonight and our listeners.
Hey, Eric, before we go...
Yep.
I just want to mention that for anyone listening and who is thinking of coming to Paracon this year, just so you know, the Skagit Motel in Cedar Woolley has been kind enough to give us a great deal on our rooms for our speakers. They are our official hotel of FMP and S4. So if you could give them your business, that would be excellent. Their number is 360-856-6001. That is the Skagit Motel in Cedar Woolley, Washington.
outstanding. And yeah, they did. And they are very, very interested in the paranormal, which is great. That's what you want on any business. So, yeah. Oh, damn cat. So, anyway, I'd like to thank Cole Wegleitner, our technical analyst, Kayla Wegleitner, our research specialist, Matthew Dunnigan, one of our Boots on Ground team analysts, Chris and Brent Dodge from the FMP Extended Care National teams, Dretta Osborne and Haley, our Extended Care team and Pure Child consultant, and our Keith Andrews, our alien race specialist. So y'all have a good night. Keep your eyes to the sky, and we'll see you next week.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us tonight on S4, the official voice of Forest Moon Paranormal. You can contact S4 through our website at www.s-4radio.com or on Facebook. Make sure you give us a like on our page and join the Forest Moon Paranormal group. If you are interested in advertising, take a look at our packages and contact Cole or Eric at 1-360-999-2830. Again, thank you. And remember, keep your eyes to the sky.